Hi, Gareth.
How are you, Raj?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for sharing your notes with us today. You've kindly brought to the podcast some of your internal training that you use here at United SEO on how managers can incentivize their teams. And you've broken it down into 3 points. So let's get straight into it. The first point that you've made here when you talk about incentives is that a manager should ascertain whether the incentive is for a team or for an individual. Can you talk to us about what the difference is, especially in terms of impact to the business?
Sure, they're totally two different things naturally. So we have to ascertain for the business what the ultimate goal is. Sometimes it can be revenue based, sometimes it might just be growth based. We want more staff, we want to grow the company, the bigger office space. It could be multiple things. So what we have to do is understand what is the impact of having an individual do something or the impact of a team doing something. Then once we've ascertained this, we set the incentive accordingly and we roll from there.
Is there any differences between having a team do something for you and an individual, like in terms of what kind of behaviors you can change? I'm sure that with an individual, there's multiple things that you can do.
Of course, we've got situations where people work better as individuals. Some people prefer to work in a team. So we have in USEO both situations. However, our goal again is to drive the business. So we set both targets actually. We've set both incentives. So we run both schemes here.
Brilliant. The next thing that you've put here on your list is that when a manager sets an incentive, you must be very clear about what behaviors are expected for the incentive to take place.
Of course, it's like an exchange. So if you do something for us, we will give back and we'll give back to you. So in business, everything's an exchange. At the end of the day, we're a service business. So when we operate with the staff here, we want to be good bosses. We want to be a good company. We want to create a great environment. So the exchange should be worthwhile for the employee for sure. So when we're setting these incentives, we make sure that they're on board and they agree and they like what we've set out for them to get as a reward if they hit the targets or goals.
Is there a different way of doing this? Like, do you always put it in writing, an email, handshake? How do you make it explicit?
It's all different. I mean, obviously, we have multiple departments within USEO. So it generally goes from the ownership through into the management, and then each department can roll out as they prefer for their department. So it might be an email to confirm things for the account managers. In the sales team, it's much more relaxed vibe. It could be literally just having a laugh and a joke. Yeah, let's do this. So it depends. The finance situation is another thing as well. So all different.
Brilliant. And that's a nice segue to your third point, which is ensure the reward is appropriate, and that is the manager's responsibility. Talk to us about that.
It's important that when we stress through to management within the company that we let them understand the individuals within our work environment and what's important to them. It might not be money. Not everyone's the same. So it could be family. It could be time off with the children. It could be on a staycation. It could be anything other than money that's important to that particular person. Or it might be money. The sales guys are definitely hungry for money. So for us, it's very important to understand what works for that individual. If we're not sure, we might just ask. We might just ask them and say, right, if we were to get this from you in exchange, what would you like? And they might just tell us, I want this. And we're shocked sometimes by what comes back. So it's never a bad thing to ask worst case scenario. And then if we line those goals out and incentives are rewarded to the staff, then it's all good. It's a win-win.
And before we wrap up, a bonus tip. You've written here that staff don't always need to know about the incentive. How does that work?
So yeah, as overviewing on the business, obviously we see everything what's going on, and sometimes people are working really hard or they're just here every day and stuff's going on and we notice it. So we like to reward these situations, and it might just be that someone's having an anniversary, or it might be the birthday coming up or something like this. So what we do is we might just give them a day off, or we might tell them go and have a meal with your family, or there's a voucher for them, or something simple. But in the end, it's an incentive, and we find that it works well.
Because even though you don't state what the incentive is up front, it's something which shows that you're listening and you care and you're prepared to reward good attitudes, good behaviors.
Yeah, exactly. Again, I go back to the exchange with the business. At the end of the day, we just want a win-win. So for us guys, we're winning because generally we get a better work ethic. Sometimes the revenues hit, we get growth in the company. The individual wins because they're getting an incentive and maybe they get something that they want as well.
Amazing. Well, I hope this creates a whole bunch of win-win scenarios for the United SEO community and clients. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll talk to you in the next episode.